Coffee markets, I'm Michael Ouzas. I'm a realtor in the Greater Toronto area. Let's go through the October stats and compare them to September. We're also going to look at a year-over-year review on where prices are at today versus where they were at last year. If you have any predictions on where we're going to go with this video, let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you ever want to connect with me, you can click the link in the description and book into my calendar anytime. So here we go, Greater Toronto area market stats. Let's start here in 2022. Total number of sales, just under 5,000, down about almost 50% from where we were last year. Active listings up 68%. We're at 13,000 active listings, which is bringing us back to these 2019-2020 levels. Average price at $1,089,000. You can see that that's down about 6% from where we were in October last year. Months of inventory, 2.63%. And as we get into the average sale price for condos, $716 overall. It's up about 2% year over year. Condo sales also down just over 50% at about 1,300. And we can see here last year we were at about 2,900 for the month of October, where the average price was about 700,000. As we get into Toronto, we can see here the average price year to date up 9.3%. But when we look October versus October, we're down about 2.6%, under 1.1 million. Active listings up 27% or 26%, sorry, and we're at about 5,300, which also brings us around the 2019 levels. Total number of sales down 50%, which is something we've seen across the board. Let's head over to the months of inventory. We're at about 2.8 months of inventory. Again, 3 months of inventory and above, we're in that balanced market, so we're right there. 2021 condo sales, we had 1,900 in the month of October. Average price was $740, and we can see here we are up a very tiny 0.1% at $740. Condo sales down about 54% for the year over year. As we take a look at the monthly sales data, we can see here there was just under 10,000 sales and active listing just under 8,000. Months of inventory last year in October 21 was under 1 month, and that means that basically every house, if it were to sell, we'd be out of properties in about 3 weeks. Average price at that time was just over 1.15 million. Average days on market 13. Fast forward to where we are today. Number of sales 4,961, back to July levels, which is one of the lowest Octobers in recent memory, about 20 years time. And we can see here active listings up to 13,000, and months of inventory, we're hitting that balanced market here in just under 3 months. Average price just under 1.1 and 21 days on market. Now let's take a look at what things have done over the last year, and we'll even compare back to 5 years ago. This is for Toronto as a whole, so you can see single family. The price point 1.5, just over 1.5. A month ago we were at 1.54. 3 months ago 1.6. 6 months ago, 1.8, and 12 months ago, 1.575. As you can see here, we're actually below where we were 12 months ago on average. Compared to 3 years ago, up a pretty good amount where we're at 1.2, and compared to 5 years ago, 1.16. Something to notice here in Toronto is that things relatively just kind of move steady Eddie over time, and you can see here 1.16 5 years ago, 1.2 3 years ago. As we look at the townhouses, 880,000 average price, 900,000 about a month ago, 960 3 months ago, and almost 1 million 6 months ago. 12 months ago, 827,000. So we're still ahead of a year ago, and 3 years ago, 660. 5 years ago, under 600. And for condos, we're seeing a similar story. 760 a month ago was about 760, and 3 months ago, 790, 6 months ago, 840, and a year ago, 709, 3 years ago, 580. Remember 3 years ago where we were at, and we were just heading into 2020, and things were relatively steady going through that time, and then we know what happened in 2020. Let's take a look at the Greater Toronto area as a whole. We'll compare it to 12 months ago. Greater Toronto area composite, which is all the areas combined and all the home types combined, 1.3% of a drop. Dufferin down 0.7%, Durham down 3%, Halton down 8.2%, Peel down 1%, Simcoe down just over 5%. Toronto has remained pretty steady at 0.1%, and York up 2.4%. And we look here, a lot of data here. If you ever are interested in these numbers and want to take your time to digest them, feel free to shoot me a message and I can send over this chart, no problem. And we can see here all the area types of where things were and where they are now. Let's take a look at Toronto as a whole, and we can see here in January 2021, just about $1.4 million was the average price of a detached home. In September 2021, that was just over 1.5, and in February, just over 1.8. As we get to October 2022, we're just under 1.52, which brings us down to about where we were in September 2021. For townhouses, 730. For townhouses, we were at about 730,000 in January 2021, and that climbed up to about 870 in December 2021. In May, 995, and in October, 882. So you can see here, we're just above where we were in December 2021. For condos, 595 in January 2021. You can remember if this time, this was the low of the market for condos. Massive exodus of Toronto. We all know why. And things started to climb fairly steadily since then. In January 2022, we're at 760. And in March, 840. And then we can see here in October, we're at about 760, just below where we were in January of this year. As we take a look at CO1, we can see here, I just made this easy and just kind of showed where we're at from a price comparison. So downtown Toronto CO1, this is from Dufferin to Yonge and from Bloor down to the water. For detached homes, we're back to where we were about August 2021 price points. For townhouses, we're back to our December 21 price points. And in condos, we're just above where we were in December 21, just below where we were in January. So here's the average price over time. And this is the one thing about Toronto. I know we spoke about this last month, but we can see here we've had 4 months of just relatively steady, very incremental increases here. And we're just kind of balancing out. We know that this was the peak here in February, March, and you can see we're back to, as a whole, just around that July, August 2021 price points. We're almost cutting off all the gains and all the decreases from this year. And we're just kind of right back to where we were in that trend line where we should have been basically the whole time. It's interesting to see how things have played out. And if we go back to 2017, there was a little peak here as well. So things peaked in 2017, came down, and were relatively flat through 2018, 2019. And then things really took off in the last couple of years. And this is where we're at today, right back in line with that trend line. So there you have it. Those are your numbers for October. I'd love to hear your thoughts on if that's where you thought they would be. We've seen the last 4 months kind of start to level out a little bit. So let's see where things are going to head in the future. One thing's for sure, as I've seen downtown, is that there are properties that have been sitting on the market. That being said, buyers are looking for a better deal and sellers are maintaining their price points. One sentiment I've heard from many sellers is that if they don't get their price, they're just going to put it up for rental. As we know, the rental market has been crazy and still very active today. It'll be really interesting to see how things progress as we head into the Christmas months. And typically winter is generally a slow time in real estate here in Toronto. We're not sure what kind of increase or if they'll remain flat on interest rates, as there's one more announcement in December. So we'll be looking forward to seeing how things play out there. I'm Michael Ouzas. I'm a realtor in the Greater Toronto Area. And if you ever want to book in a call with me, click that link down below. And as always, click that like and subscribe button for more videos just like this.